Cantita duela bofilia antuf.
Out of Date says there'll be consequences of the war, but there are more pressing matters at hand.
Ba lo yualo.
The last World Eater has been left undisturbed with the tree while you focused on the war.
Ko boboye boy yo otuloa nuekek ujbar no barke.
He thought someone with your light perspective and key would have had different priorities and faced the World Eaters before resolving the tribe war.
Yo otuloa taimis.
Regardless, Out of Date is grateful the tribe war is over.
Loa tolu tom.
Out of Date understands the road has been rough, but you already know what's left to end this journey, and it'll be tough.
Toloa lo toloka olowoya lo yalo batolo yo.
You're the only one that's strong enough to face the last World Eater.
Koibe o korfabe.
The future depends on someone with a light perspective to give the world a chance to survive.
Mao toliawaho.
Only time will tell what the future holds, and if it will bring a lasting peace for those that make it to the end.
Yuba tolo wawa.
Out of Date says the word about what you've done so far is spreading. The tribes haven't lost hope yet.
Mao toliawaho. Balu putulua.
He appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's had urgent news from his friend Wiz in the northwest.
Kanuka nuburak.
He's unsure about your intentions, but hopes you'll support Wiz. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's hunch is real. The Merc Puff is up next.
Beboko konta befarbihita huntukub kirko.
Out of Date says that Wiz is worried now that the Northwest World Eater is stepping up its activity.
Kujai hifar befarb.
He explains that Wiz is working on an undersurf vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done.
Zata ghetto e bubuko von junvun.
Out of Date suggests that you should head northwest as fast as possible and see what you can do to help.
Kuzata ghetto
He's happy to help.
e bubuko von junvun.
So, says you covered the important things already. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Let's see. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his OCTOPAD? Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go. But he set up camp at the foot of the Tree of Life. It's gotten more difficult for it to find defenseless prey, as it's already eaten most of them. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. Ultimately, it's your choice. You were the one to be wronged and have lived with the consequences. He believes in consequence as it's a direct result of action.
Bet you can see clearly now.
Oh, that much light isn't good for you.
Oh, you're just afraid it'll burn you to ash and you'll blow away.
I'm not. Well, not that much.
You should be.
Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Says they're unified in the ways that matter. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the OCTOPAD. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go-in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up Mecha Fingro in the Mecha Stadium that getting that tool will help turn around the situation for sure. It'll definitely help him unshut the hatch. You found a bric-brac that's not absolutely flat. Don't want to point a finger, but the Mecha Stadium is near here. You better move. That monster is on its way to the Tree of Life. Lockety-locked. That's not opening on its own. Needs a key. You can see so much farther in the light. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. This is all. He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick. Well, he means slick, as in greasy, so you can lube the hinges of the lid. He can't argue against the fact your fur's shiny. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow.
Evan Tulusin.
He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The merc puff is crunching bark by the minute.
Inditara Choshin Padal Parat Irata. Nodam.
Wiz heard he's currently stranded at the end of the line, so it should be easier to track him down now compared to when he's running rails. You've reached the end of the line. Bet you can find Choo Choo here.
Basata Kuntapa. Malakoyaba, Oripakat, Chuchu.
Choo Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rail claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them, and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could... Likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Seems like the world came out of its rut and is chugging toward higher ground again. Can't thank you enough for hitting the brakes and working to turn the world chug around. But let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he didn't plan to make a stop here, but now that he had to, he's really happy to see you. He says his name is Choo Choo. He's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Says that...
Blinded by the dark, right? I mean, who gets blinded by light?
Now you can see how awful the dark can be.
That's not why we like the dark. Well, not the only reason.
Hiding in the dark is for cowards.
Oh, get that light out of my face.
The Wing Nut Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. Good hit. just awful. Watch your step around here. It's... Choo-Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason. But he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free. He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck. He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of emergency. Yes, for something catastrophic, like something squeaky in need of greasing, or an ointment to ease the pain in these dark times in general. Choo-Choo says you should. It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its kind, so don't let it go to waste. He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open. Seems glad you think so. You're on the right rail. Choo-Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place. Understands you have things to do. You shouldn't worry about smashing up the box. Choo-Choo has no use for it now. He's convinced there was a bigger reason you met. Sometimes the wrong train will take you to the right place. He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. Figures everyone chooses their own path. The longer you ride the rails, though, the easier it is to travel with friends. Choo-Choo's thrilled you found the Ark. Just imagine how much bets it could fly circles around any chug yard. Makes him dizzy to think about it. The world's on the mend, so no need to leave it. But just think of all the places the Ark could take you. Says he's happy to see the Ark in your hands. Knows you'll go great places with it and do some good. Wonders who you might call aboard the Ark with you.
So, what we have here is an opportunity to help your next. There's a seat open on the Ark.
Why? You don't need anyone else but yourself and me, of course, but I'm a part of you, so that doesn't count.
If you want to go quickly, go alone.
But you know you can't go on without me.
I think we can finally agree on something.
After spending a life on the rails, he's eager to ride the skies with you. Just let him pack his rollerboard and he'll roll aboard. Choo Choo says he's ready to pack up and leave. Says you're welcome back. Wiz says that there's no plan to confront the Merkpuff until the octopod is properly armed. He's happy to tell you that the cannon he's been working on now just needs ammunition. He says his old friend Boom makes all things that go bang. There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyro sticks shot off and are out there roaming free. You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyros. If you're far... He's a peculiar little fellow that's been fiddling with splodies since he was a kidling. It runs in his blood. Their family recipes pack a punch. Feel the night wrap around you. That there is a fuel foundry where Toxanol processes produce. Bites the dust. That's a bang plant, where Toxanol used to make all sorts of splody things before it blew up in their faces. A smart foe would leave now. You can see a lot farther now than at night. That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. The pyrosticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the Merkpuff where it... He hopes so, as there's no Plan B, or more correctly, Plan C. Out of Date has named this Plan B. Plan A was to take on the World Eaters by foot, or flaps in this case. Turns out swimming down there was a bad idea. Wiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyrosticks, it squirts guppos, scaly distractions for anyone with an appetite disorder, and irresistible for the Merkpuff in particular. Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gil. He has a natural sonar and knows where the guppos sub the surf. This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom. Find Gil and he'll be able... He used to run a pet shop stocked with guppos, but since they've become more difficult to find, he's diverted his attention to make them grow in numbers instead of giving them away. Let's see. This is Burblebottom. Happy to finally get to meet you. He's seen a lot. Claims to have been born swimming, but he must flap-flop clear of it during these dark days. It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against? It's crazy hard to flipper against the surf, but you can't save the world if you let it sweep you away. Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty. Thinks like... Wonders who would want to. The right wave takes you where you want to go. Can't imagine how wonderful it's going to be to surf on gooless goo. The world is going to live. Can't Happy you ride alongside the Myriad. They bring a real shine to everything they work with. Says they shine so bright, they glitter on the waves. But none of that's nearly as important as enjoying the day, right? He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there. Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf mucked and the air blocked his gills. He figures figures you're right, but that doesn't mean he has to drink that. His friend Wiz needs guppos for one reason or another, and Gil is ready to point you in the right direction. But here, you're only going to find dead ones. He's pretty sure Wiz wants them alive. Well, at least the ones that aren't already rotting. If you head in the right direction, you'll find a clean enough bit of surf to snag yourself some guppos. Then you can get them to Wiz for whatever he has in mind. Helping both you and Wiz makes him double happy. This is Guppy Grotto. hard to believe this is all here. Bolted shut. Days are scarce. Don't waste them. That seems to be enough guppos to provide the octopod with infinite ammunition.
Urvati,
He's It's just another proof of the evolutionary change caused by toxanol's contamination. Being undersurf has meant the merkpuff has been left alone to munch on the root down there undisturbed. This means the northwest route has suffered more damage than the others. He's sure there's enough time to confront the merkpuff, but he worries if the world has enough years left to last his lifetime, even if you stop the world eaters.